Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute.
We are the last that go me.
Yes, let me do that again. I actually had a brain fart. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Last Minute Kickout. I am Pete Dunn. Joining me today, well, I'm obviously the younger and more talented of the three of us. So therefore, I'm Pete Dunn. Joining me this week is John Senior and Kevin Nash. Yes, this week I'm in a way of insulting my co-hosts today, and they have no idea why. We are the Beard Brothers, and we are talking about the pile of fucking wank that was Elimination Chamber 2018.
Whoa! Settle your little tea kettle there, loser weight.
Lose weight, wow.
We'll give the game away about what we think about it.
But yes, it was... Yeah. I mean, as these pay-per-views on the road to WrestleMania go, they are very obvious for the most part in what they do, although we always think that they do have options for how they're going to WrestleMania with specific storylines. Obviously, we're all incorrect because Vince McMahon is a fucking money-making genius and clearly knows better than the rest of us, especially with plans that have been in the making for 3 years.
Technically 4.
Technically 4 years, but well, technically, yeah. But yes, we are here to talk about the Elimination Chamber and our thoughts on it. So thank you very much for joining us on the YouTubes and also in the iTunes link, which you can follow in the description box below this video or on the social medias or on the Last Minute Continued page. Thank you very much for listening to us babble on for however long this episode will probably be.
Spoilers, it won't be as long as Royal Rumble. Trust us.
One can hope. But yes, Mr. John Turbo Finley, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. A bit nippy, like the lot of us, of course. But hey, it's all fine. We watched this show, and yeah, we will probably have some negative feelings this time around. I know that for sure.
This is where I rated higher than the both of you.
No, I'm not gonna be as optimistic as I have been in previous shows.
Mr. Kevin the Kevin Eva, how are you on this glorious evening?
Tired, frankly, but yeah, it's I have been good, and as has been alluded to, at the moment, us all three in the UK are currently being assaulted by a giant storm called the Beast from the East. So we can only assume that the ghost of Bam Bam Bigelow is really angry with us. And for some reason, I didn't mind Beast from the East as the pay-per-view.
No, the Beast in the East special was actually very good. It had a very good NXT match, actually. Thank you very much. That was Kevin Owens.
Yeah, you know what was excellent about that? The commentary, because nobody gave a damn about the commentary, so they actually let Michael Cole be Michael Cole as opposed to a Vince McMahon puppet. And hey, unsurprisingly, he was actually good, tolerable.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Probably that.
But anyway, enough about that. We're here to talk about the Elimination Chamber, and as is customary, we will start on the pre-show, which I watched this week. I thought it was actually a better match than I had any credit for.
Gimmick infringement.
I mean, you're not wrong. But this is also just leading up into another match at WrestleMania. It's been something that's been rumored for 2 months, I think, where they're just into this point where with the Intercontinental title that they were when the New Day were having the longest title, and they're just gonna do a match with the club versus the Miz and the Miz Taraj at WrestleMania, where he doesn't have an actual title match, and then essentially becomes the all-time longest holder of that belt.
I think it becomes that before Mania, though. 61 days, 31 days.
It's
either at Mania or before Mania. It's an odd one. It's worked out in their favor magically. And it's weird because they're doing that because of a number of other factors. And it's weird that it's like, okay, our piggy in the middle of all of this is actually The Miz, and what's The Miz going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And they are waiting for other factors to play out as an emergency. Basically, we're using Miz as an emergency measure in the event of, oh crap, stuff happens.
Yeah. Which is not bad. It's good to be that person on that market poll. What the fuck am I talking about? On that actual poll, because Miz is really good in his own right, and I really hope after this fucking Intercontinental title thing is done with, they actually push him for a main event slot. I really fucking do. Like,
I still want him to have the feud with Jericho over best Intercontinental champion. I think that would make too much sense. Because then you've got Jericho going for 10. You've got Jericho going for, I think, title 10. And with The Miz going, I'm the best, and says, oh, well, you haven't beaten me for the belt. And I am the most reigns, so it's interesting. But anyway, so...
But yeah, the club versus the Miz Taraj. It's a small match, but it's very serviceable, compared to some matches that really truly should have deserved to be on the card. Hardy versus Wyatt. That match had no need to be on the fucking main card.
We'll get to that. So for Elimination Chamber, they played up a bit of the Graves Booker stuff. Booker was back and feeling a bit frisky.
Isn't it Booker's first televised appearance, wasn't it, since the incident?
Yeah, they recorded the backstage thing as well. And then Paige was there to big up Absolution for the Chamber. There was a Bayley and Sasha, as I put it here, "We Are Friends" promo. Mickie James arrived looking like she's trick-or-treating as Beth Phoenix. And then Matt Hardy said he'd delete Sister Abigail's essence or something to that effect. But yeah, goes on to Miz Taraj.
I thought it was a decent match. I enjoyed it. It was a good match. It didn't need to be anything special.
We had them chanting "nerd" again because apparently that's the best these two can do.
Well, it is a PG show. It is a PG show. They're not in New Japan. Gallows and Anderson. They have to abide to their rules. It's not like they can swear anytime at any point, during their kind of like offense, and the audience won't understand.
Yes, they can. It's up to Dunn to. Yeah.
I think that would give Dunn too much work. He doesn't want the work
of the Kevin sort, and not the Pete.
Yeah.
That would be very amusing if we got Pete Dunne into the...
Pete Dunne doing the editing.
Send Kevin Dunn out as the UK champion.
Have that old guy with his dentures trying to hold the UK title in his teeth.
You're now got to go out on 205 Live, and you show us how it should be done then. So yeah, it goes. But there was a few bits in there, wasn't there, Pete? In the Gallows Anderson match.
Yeah, there was a few bits and pieces I enjoyed. It wasn't meant to be anything long. It was just meant to be a match that was there on the actual card itself. But it's the club. The club know how to do tag team wrestling. Like, I don't understand why the Dash and Dawson thing was there though. Like, I understand they're trying to push him over, but there really was no need for that promo.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
It's a total waste of the revival as well. Ever since they just come back from both of them being injured, it's like one being injured and then the other got injured, and now they're back and they can't do anything with them apparently. So,
they can kill them off quite happily at Raw 25.
They want to push them to be the next tag champions, don't they? That's the idea. Which is
they're doing a very shitty job of
that.
Yeah, I don't know where the Raw tag team situation is right now. It feels odd. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it made a decent pre-show at the end of the day, but then...
Yeah. So Gallows eventually came in, kicks all around, Magic Killer, and they won. But the person who enjoyed the match the most, I think, was quite possibly Curtis Axel, who was on a mission of his own in that match. There was a great bit where, because the crowd was still a bit coming in, they were still a bit like, Anderson did a drop kick and then got up after it and was all like, yeah, that was a really good drop kick. Yeah. He was like cheering himself, bigging himself up for it. About 2 minutes later, there was again a sort of a similar spot, and Curtis Axel did a drop kick, and he got up and he screamed, "Oh my God, did you see that?" I was like, "Where?" Taking the piss out of him. And the camera cut to Bo, and Bo was cracking up. Then for the man time,
yes.
But the other thing was there was a Simon Miller is my dad sign. Well done, whoever that was.
So why? Here's why.
Fuck your mum. So yes, that was that. Paul Heyman. They gave Paul Heyman 2 minutes at the end of the pre-show. The best bit of which was as the camera's going off, turning to Rosen thingamajig and going, "Who are you?" Which was great. And to answer you, Paul, we still don't know who he is or why he's there, but apparently he is. Anyway, serviceable show, like Pete says, serviceable pre-show, but one match, and it was a bit.
I would prefer more than one match on a pre-show. I really would. I'd like him to open up the pre-show. Hi, welcome. Well, I suppose the only reason they don't do 2 matches is because they got to get the fucking audience into the building. But like, it would be really nice if we have welcome to the pre-show match, fucking match, more talky bit, another match instead of fucking 40 minutes of bullshit. And
really
the biggest problem about the pre-shows is that it spoils the video packages for the matches.
Actually, yeah, because that's a big thing to build up for the atmosphere for the match itself as the viewer. But if you've already seen them, then it doesn't have the effect. So yes. Anyway, on to the main show with Now by Rocket League.
Indeed, everything's by
lots of Rocket League again this time round.
That fucking advert. That fucking advert can get in the sea as well.
The one with the car.
Pick of that fucking car save every time. Here's an advert made by people who have been told what Rocket League is. It's football with cars.
This has been written by a focus group, a Ford focus.
But yeah, the main match was, something that I'm happy to see is the women's first ever Elimination Chamber opening first. Like, the amount of times we've had I don't mean to shit on the women's division. They're good in their own right. But making the first ever match of each time be the last match on the card is almost annoying every time.
Well, here's the thing, because I think it was fitting because we ended Royal Rumble with the first Women's Royal Rumble, and we start Elimination Chamber with the first Women's Elimination Chamber. That's kind of like a good following, I saw.
Here's the argument. The only reason the Women's Royal Rumble was on last was for the Rousey announcement.
Yeah,
because it absolutely shat all over Asuka winning the thing, even though everybody knew Asuka was going to win. Apparently,
there was a Royal Rumble before it. I just remember Ronda Rousey. I remember.
It was an hour-long gauntlet match with somebody just turning up at the end, mate.
Yeah. Entry 31 won it, yeah?
Yeah. Technically, entry 33 because the champions walked into the Rumble as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also, very unusual way to win a Royal Rumble because you just got in and pointed at a sign and you won.
Mate, I'd love to do that.
You won the match at WrestleMania. It was, I mean, damn, if we knew that it was all just that all these years. Somebody needs to tell the Usos about this.
Yeah.
Because they're not pointing at the sign hard enough.
Exactly. How many times did she point? 5? 5 times?
It was
3.
Well, as I think I termed it last time, she'd like the Bee Gees or Staying Alive one, didn't she?
Yeah. Women's Elimination Chamber.
Best match of the night.
What? Are you high?
Funny enough, I got asked that yesterday from somebody about my writing. No, I thought it was best match of the night.
Jesus, I mean, I know this is an opinion panel, but fucking hell, you need to get a better opinion. Jesus Christ, man. Okay, no, explain why you think it was the best match on the card. Go on.
Because everything else was utter shite. Okay. What do you think was the best match of the night?
I'll talk about that at the end of the fucking night. But I would like to reiterate the point that just because you are the shiniest turd does not make you it does not make you not a turd. Like,
well, no one. I'm not saying it was a good match. I'm saying it was the best match of the night. That is a very different thing.
Yeah.
And I entirely agree with you. It's still the best match of the night as far as I was concerned.
I disagree, but okay. I don't know what to make of the Women's Elimination Chamber. They suddenly changed it from being what it was to being a standard Elimination Chamber to being 3 sets of friends / partners against each other, and they just seem to be troping themselves these days. Like, the first elimination of the Royal Rumble is the first elimination in the Chamber. She's now going to be going forward being tarred with this brush of being, going to be eliminated. Was it Mandy Rose, I believe her name was? And it's just like, is she just going to be the full girl for the tag? And is this how this tag team is going to fall apart now? Because Mandy Rose is going to be the weaker of the two. It's bizarre. And then you've got Sasha Banks and fucking Bayley. Sasha, betraying Bayley again and not going full heel turn. Give her that fucking heel turn. WWE, come on. We've been waiting for over a year. Plus, fuck me. If Sasha had at least won the title, it would have been an interesting match of Sasha versus Asuka. Way more interesting than... my brain's gone.
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss winning the title and looking near on undefeatable in everything she's been put against. How long has she held that belt now? Since she's been on Raw?
About 4 months, 5 months.
She's held that belt. She's done so many multi-woman matches and everything else, and she's come out of it looking completely unscathed for the most part, looking undefeatable just to fall to Asuka. There were 2 options for this evening to go. Either either Sasha wins and we get Sasha versus Asuka, which is going to be a barnstormer of a match, or Nia wins. If Alexa wins, then Nia wins, and then you have the friendship against Asuka, and then Nia going around and going, "This is my time." And then you could even turn around and have Nia pin Alexa, and Asuka still keeps her unbeaten streak because Asuka has lost a multi-person match, and they've still said that she's 100% in singles competition. You know, there are so many ways that they could have come out of Elimination Chamber with a better women's match at WrestleMania.
Now, did I miss? I missed this. Has Asuka picked Bliss?
Yes.
She has picked Bliss.
It's been implied by the commenters in recent weeks that Asuka is going up against Alexa Bliss for the title.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the whole point about it was
Asuka herself has not made it clear that she is going up against Alexa Bliss.
No, but
everything around her has been implying that it's seeming that Asuka will go up against Alexa Bliss, because the match between her and Nia Jax, it was going to be if Nia Jax beats Asuka, she gets added to the title match at WrestleMania, which would imply the Raw one, because it wouldn't make any sense if Nia Jax gets added to the SmackDown title match if Asuka's got to go to SmackDown.
If only we'd got the winner of the Royal Rumble to make some kind of pick at the Royal Rumble. They've found this shit out. Oh, anyway. Sorry, it irks me. In that whole situation, because then what the hell's Charlotte doing? And it's like, oh, God.
I mean, I'm sure we'll see what's going on at Fastlane in a couple of weeks. But the two options I could see was Sasha wins the belt. She gets because even the commentators made note of it would have been the most reigns a woman's had with the belt, even though Mickie James has been. No, if Mickie James won it, would be the most championships a woman's ever had. But if Sasha won it, she would have tied it or something stupid like with 6. And then I think Sasha. The two options were Sasha versus Asuka, or Alexa wins, and then it's Nia that beats Asuka, because then you have Asuka not walking in to WrestleMania with an undefeated streak, clearly winning the fucking belt at WrestleMania anyway, and it's, so it takes that out of the equation so anyone can win it. That's my opinion anyway. There were a couple of decent spots in the women's match, like Alexa running away and everything else, and then the obvious implosion of things happening, but I don't think it was brilliant. I think there were too many dumb choices made in that match. And it felt like it was over far quicker than it was. But that's my opinion. You two have got to have your opinion. And tell me why I'm wrong. Because you have paper with notes. I use the remainder of my tiny brain to think about these things.
Yeah. Although you put it to good use, unlike my writing. So yeah, Kev said it was the best match of the night. I wouldn't heavily agree with that, but I will say it's my second best match of the night, at least. But we'll go through it. We had starting through the match, we had Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Mickie James, and Mandy Rose in the pods to start us off. Bayley and Sonya Deville was starting the match. They were doing all right. Good back and forth. Bayley hit a good bulldog. That was good. What was it? Also dropping an elbow to Sonya Deville on the outside, which now, of course, a lot of people were kind of like annoyed how they kind of like protect the wrestlers by putting mats on the outside of the ring inside the chamber. I feel as though that's fair, because really we don't want to see any more injuries from any of these competitors at all whatsoever.
I got completely confused because the way you made that sound sounded like you're in favour for less protection. Sorry, no, I completely agree.
No,
more protection is good.
Gee, Christ, Pete. Yeah, I might have been brought up.
Give us pain.
It's the way you said it. You were like, a couple of people have brought up how the fact that there's mats in there for more protection, and I completely agree. But I'm like, what? What? So no, I agree with the point that more protection is better because we want these people to have longer careers, and do things.
Yeah,
like we're past the stage where like our Undertakers and everything else are out due to whatever injuries. Yeah, for all this. I don't care. Give them protection. They can still do the moves that look good and everything else. Give them the protection.
Yeah.
Considering the demands of a wrestler nowadays and the amount of days they're doing it, it's a fair compromise.
It's a fair trade-off.
It's not like it isn't still a thin mat with still hardened steel underneath.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a crash pad. It's like an old school WCW mat, basically.
Yeah.
It's something you get in a 1980s gymnasium.
Anyway, moving on. What was it? Mandy Rose threw. There was a really good spot where Mandy Rose threw Bayley into the chain, and she was able to spider grab the chain.
John Morrison
not to stop herself. John Morrison. Hi. That was really good. Then Sasha Banks joins the match, does 2 double knees to Sonya Deville. What was it? Actually, no. Sorry, I totally missed this. Sonya Deville. No, it was. Jeez, I'm getting it in wrong order. Mandy Rose came in first. Then Sasha Banks came to help Bayley. Although Bayley was holding her own quite well against the two to start off, because as she saw Mandy Rose coming in, she was just went into her. But no, Sasha Banks then comes in to help out Bayley because she was getting beaten down eventually. Mandy Rose hits. I don't know what's with Mandy Rose. I'm guessing her front forward slam is her finisher, I guess, but it's not a really good finisher for her. I think she needs to get something better because it just looks stupid. Sasha Banks puts Mandy Rose into the bank statement to eliminate her first, so that's her. Then Mickie James joins the match. She's all fired up and whatnot. Mickie James is, she needs to have more credit because she's one of the veterans in this division that she's like Natty, where she has so much experience under her belt that she's not being rewarded well enough for her time.
Is this so?
And Mickie James. It's like she's like Natalia, where she's not getting rewarded for any of her time.
Yeah, but I feel like she's in that Dolph Ziggler kind of environment at the moment where she's there to literally.
Well, she's not like
she's the elevating veteran, is what she's there for.
Yeah, she is the elevating veteran. But of course, I would like her to at least have one more run as champion. Just like how they gave Natty one more run as champion.
If the story calls for it, if the storyline calls for it, and it's absolutely worth it happening,
which hopefully will be sometime this year. I think I'm gonna make a bold prediction for later this year. I think she will eventually get the title sometime down the line later this year, probably in the next winter section of pay-per-views, maybe. Not SummerSlam, that's too early, I think. But that's just me. I'm just making that prediction now. But she's got so much talent because she does a Hurricanrana to Sonya Deville, and then she falls. Then later, she does a dive from the pod, from on top of one of the pods to take out Sonya Deville and eliminate her out of the match. Then what was it? Afterwards, Mickie James gets eliminated by a double team of Sasha Banks,
and Bayley
doing the backstabber to her first, and then Bayley doing the belly to belly, or belly to belly. I forget which way it is.
Bayley to belly.
Bayley to belly, and that's eliminated her. So it gives Alexa Bliss the way to be worrying because she's not in the match yet, and then she gets joined in the match and she's trying to hold the door open or closed, so she doesn't get have to go into the match. And Sasha Banks and Bayley are chasing her up the structure. Alexa Bliss is like a cowardly little cat, just climbing up, going inside. That was fun. What was it? A very notable spot happens where they're all coming up to a pod. Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss are on one pod. Bayley's trying to get herself up. Sasha Banks gets a hand out, and then she kicks her down. And it's like, "Long live the king!"
Yeah, very nice.
It's like, no. So that was good.
She smiled as well.
Oh shit! Yeah, she smiled. She smiled after that.
It was all like a Grinch grin on her face.
You're a mean one,
exactly what
Mrs. Banks.
You really are a heel.
Although, granted, after what's been happening this past week on Raw, on Raw, I mean, it's like it's questioning who's the heel, But moving on, there was a nice, really good suplex by Bayley to Alexa. That was really nice. Just moving on, and then some more suplexes done by. Oh, there was tons of suplexes done by the women here. Then what was it? Going on, I'm skipping a lot. There was obviously this is a spot of the night that a lot of people were catching off. It's like Sasha is on. I don't know if it was the top rope or the pod, but I think it was the top rope.
Well, that stupid splash, which everybody was calling a frog splash.
Yeah. It's like it was a good splash, but it wasn't a frog splash.
No,
don't call it a frog splash.
Seth Rollins knows what a frog splash is.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Apparently.
Yeah. Eventually, Bayley gets eliminated by, I think it was Sasha Banks.
No,
Alexa Bliss. Sorry.
Yeah, Bayley did a second rope Bayley to belly on Sasha, and then got
Sasha Banks, and then Alexa Bliss took the bits.
Like, yeah. If a quick roll up is going to be how you can eliminate Sasha, let her get the pin on. On Bayley. Then let her get the pin on Sasha, and then roll her up. You've just done a finisher on somebody.
Yeah, but it made sense because you surprised Bayley, got Bayley because Sasha was down. So it was like it made sense to try and get Bayley out of the way at that point.
Yeah, I mean, because also sometimes when you do a big finisher from the top rope, you're a little exhausted after pulling off the move yourself sometimes. So,
but it was the second rope.
And it was, and Bayley, and we were landing stomach to stomach on somebody, but Bayley was sort of selling the fact that actually it took quite a bit out of her as well at the time. So.
Yeah. So, then Alexa Bliss attempted Twisted Bliss on Sasha Banks, but Sasha Banks was able to counter it, which is really good. But then later on, they would do another. Alexa Bliss would do another Twisted Bliss from the pod, which was good, but Sasha Banks was able to immediately go into the bank statement afterwards, which
totally
was like
no-sold that.
Yeah,
It looked.
she tends to have she has a tendency of doing that sometimes.
The Twisted Bliss from the top of the pod looked really good.
It looks sweet.
Yeah.
Also,
it's almost as good.
No idea how the heck she was going to land.
Yeah, it's almost as well. It's actually better than Charlotte's moonsault from the top rope. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yes,
yeah, but Charlotte's been fucking that up recently anyway. So
her moonsault is basically just a back somersault, land on feet.
Yeah.
Which,
whilst Alexa Bliss is putting a little pirouette.
Yeah, because she landed on actually props to Sasha as well, because that was you couldn't do much in the way of catching her. She pretty much straight landed on her.
Yeah. But eventually Sasha Banks puts on the bank statement and goes on for a while, but Alexa Bliss, even though they roll into the ring to try to get the submission, because you need to make the pinfall or the submission inside the ring, inside the ropes. You can't do it outside the ropes. Alexa Bliss was able to get out of it. Sasha Banks tried to go up onto the top, but Alexa Bliss pushed her into the pod, and then she catches her into a top rope draping DDT a la Randy Orton, hits Sasha Banks with it, and Alexa Bliss wins with the pin. And the promo afterwards. Now, granted, I don't know whether or not the promo afterwards was needed, but to try to fool us to say, "Oh, Alexa Bliss is being humble and whatnot and being this emotional," it's like, but nah, she's really a heel. Yeah, she's really a bad girl. Yeah, we didn't need that.
I don't think it's so much as a way to fool us. It's like, because she does it so often after each one of these multi-person matches, it's just ridiculous. We've just come to expect it now. I'm not sure. It's storytelling, isn't it? Like, the first time you were like, "Oh, maybe she's done." No. All right, Kev.
Yeah. So, logic happened in this match, which is one of the things I particularly liked about it. Everyone got a bit of proper offense in, unless your name's Mandy Rose. It was not the best of matches if you're her, and I agree. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with her now, because she's got this reputation of being the first one out of any kind of major thing. There was a really nice bit at the start, actually, where both Bayley and Sonya were sort of a little bit in awe of the cage around them, and the back and forth over who was going to go into the cage first became like the cornerstone of their pairing until Mandy came in, and then you had the catapult of Bayley and Bayley hanging onto the cage, as Turbo mentioned. But you also had after that it was a lot like a ring around the rosy, with them both trying to throw each other into the cage. It was a lot of back, counter, and then eventually Bayley winning that and Sonya going into the cage. And that was quite a big thing. Bayley got a chance, which is a relatively big thing for her in terms of recent things. Hey, look, booking. What happens if you actually get a wrestler, give them some wins? Turns out the crowd gets behind them again. What a surprise. Within a minute of the match starting, we're talking about Ronda Rousey, of course. So none of this mattered at all. We'll get into that.
It's amazing when you have a whole division based on one person that hasn't done a match yet.
Yeah, it was great, and we'll get more into that in a bit.
Is she literally the female Brock Lesnar? Is that what she is?
No.
At the moment, she is.
She is until Queen of Spades, or whatever it is, comes up from NXT. Then she will be. The one whose gimmick is currently just trying to end people after the match.
Yes, I'm forgetting her name now.
His name escapes me. All I can remember is his name, the Queen of Spades.
Yes.
It's fine. Spin on.
Shayna Baszler.
Well, yeah.
Shayna Baszler. That's what she is.
There was logic in an elimination style match where on Rose's elimination, because it was backstabber into the bank statement. Bayley intercepted DeVille. I mean, probably just chucked herself at her just to stop her from interrupting her Absolution teammate.
Actually, I've got a really good Simpsons quote for that. It's like, okay, you're gonna protect that melon. You're gonna dive out there. You gotta go no. No, let me see you do that. No,
it wasn't so much across body.
3, 2, 1, bang!
It wasn't so much across body. It was just I'm gonna fling myself at you to stop. But it made sense. Stuff. Why do people interrupt other pinfalls in these things? Alexa Bliss's facial expressions are wonderful. She was so pleased
about
when.
Oh my god, my brain is farting tonight. Oh my goodness. Mickie James.
Yeah, she was so pleased when James went out. She looked to her doe eyes. She does doe eyes really well, but she's like, no, please don't go.
Don't leave
me. Leave me. I'm sad, my friend.
I'm sad.
So funny.
I am sad the person I would inevitably backstab has been eliminated by 2 other people. Gosh darn it!
Speaking of backstab, Graves continued his little role in the Banks Bayley saga and saying, "How long's it going to be before Bayley backstabs Banks backstabs Bayley and everything?" And it's
like called it.
and again, there was some nice little payoffs there because there was a bit where Banks came in and cut off Bayley's the sort of backflip, woo, and then corner move that she does. Banks came in, cut it off. So Bayley put Banks in a tree of woe, looked over to Bliss because she was busy with Bliss before, and then went, you know what? Sod you. And then just started stomping and mud hole in Banks while she was in the tree of woe. She'd much rather get a little bit of revenge on her mate than go back to Bliss. So that was nice. Other than that, I'm sorry that no selling the Twisted Bliss annoyed me. But other than that, it was a Elimination Chamber match. The Elimination Chamber came into force. It was treated
good effect.
With respect. They did a lot of little bits, multiple people. There was also the chasing around was good and kind of made sense. They made use of the pods. They made use of everything in the chamber basically. And I thought it was actually a decent match certainly in terms of what was going on, how things progressed with the wrestlers and things moving along into Mania. It did exactly what it needed to do. Which then, of course, after obviously, after we all went out and bought Rocket League for the 150th time, with more promo, we got on to tag team match number 2. Count the pre-show.
Before we get onto that, do you think, in terms of the championship storyline going into WrestleMania, it should be Alexa the Undefeatable?
I think it should be Alexa the Undefeated up to that point, certainly, because then you've got the added thing. I think if it's her versus Charlotte, you've then got the added thing of Carmella, who's still got the Money in the Bank briefcase.
What was her match at WrestleMania last year?
Whose? Charlotte's?
Alexa.
I have no idea.
WrestleMania.
It was a multi-man match.
Which one was it? 33?
It was multi.
Was it 33 last year?
Yes.
33. Yes, it's 34 this year.
It was a 4-way. Did she lose the belt last year as well?
No, Bayley went in as champion.
Oh yeah, it was the 4-way, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the 4-way.
Yeah.
Bayley went in as champion.
Actually, no. Wait, hold on. She was SmackDown champion Yes, she lost it to Naomi in the fight.
She's doing,
I believe.
They did the sort of switch back, didn't they?
Yeah, they're doing. So she's going to be losing her championship twice at WrestleMania.
Or is she?
It won't be the first time that a champion that someone's been losing their championship twice, or losing to the same person twice.
Unfortunately, with the way that the commentator and the way they like to do storylines, it means that they will then turn around and go, "This isn't the first time Alexa's walked into WrestleMania as champion and not walked out with the belt."
But you then also give her character an interesting thing, though, that you can play on in the future. Because, as you point out, she's survived everything. You pointed out earlier. I'm not sure if this is one recording or not, but she's survived all these multi-man matches, hasn't she? And yet, when it comes to the biggest stage in the ball, she can't quite do it. And then you bring a thing into the character where actually, yes, she can do all this nonsense, but at the same time, when it really comes down to it. So she's like the opposite of you can't win the big one. You can't win the big one. You can win every other one, but you can't win the big one. So then you have a thing that you can maybe bring in the future. But at the same time, anyway, I am still interested in what they're going to do with Asuka. I think they're leaving up in the edges to make it.
You know what?
We've still got like 5 weeks before Mania, so anything can happen. At this
point, I hope Asuka doesn't win Mania. I think it'll be best for characters like ultimately at this point, Alexa failing at WrestleMania will be a bigger story than Asuka winning another match and going on undefeated. It's going to be a bigger story.
If she wins by count out. She wins by count out owing to Nia putting her through a table or something, or she's knocked out.
Do you know what? I'll take that. I don't think Alexa should lose to Asuka. I think Alexa should. I'm not saying clean, but I think
Alexa keep Asuka as not pinned, not submitted.
Yeah, I think Alexa not losing the belt of WrestleMania is the better story to tell.
Because it's not like she hasn't not lost a match during that time. It's that she's undefeated because she lost the Battle Royal.
Yeah, and it seems to be, after watching Raw this week, that the story is Nia's just going to destroy Asuka every week.
Bonus points to either of you if you can tell me who eliminated Asuka in that Battle Royal.
I know who that was.
My brain doesn't work like that. John, go ahead.
Turbo.
I can't believe we have to talk about her. It's all red everything.
Oh, right. Eva Marie.
I can't wrestle to save my foot. Eva Marie.
He's the only person to hand a loss to her, technically.
Dick.
Oh, dear. Anyway, Women's Championship. Good is not what's happening on either side of this minute in time. But yes, again, the bar, Titus Worldwide. Apollo Crews is so rubbish. Okay.
Titus Worldwide!
Apollo Crews is...
And it's also just Apollo. Yeah. It's just Apollo now.
He's so rubbish when every other wrestler is losing their... Oh, jeez. When every other wrestler is losing their first name because their surname is so, meaningful, Apollo's managed to lose his surname and he's just stuck with the first name. He's the opposite of everybody else.
Because he had
in this thing.
Because he had Cesaro being, what was his first name? Cesaro? I can't remember. Antonio Cesaro. And then you had Alexander Rusev.
Yes.
And then you had Adrian Neville.
WWE, where second names go to die.
And
no, it's first names that go to die normally, but no, second names.
Don't forget Bartholomew Mankind.
But yes, let's move swiftly on. We've been at this for 50 minutes, which is about the length of the first match, and we've already talked about the first match. So, The Bar versus Titus Worldwide. What a pile of wank this was. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
I can't watch The Bar now.
I can't. I don't mind The Bar. I really don't mind.
I like to watch The Bar. What I don't like is every time Sheamus is on the apron, Sheamus going like this. and rubbing his neck and holding his neck.
Ah, right.
I can't. Every time he's up on that thing, he's like, and I'm just like, I know we're buying him. I know we're buying Sheamus time with all of this, and fair enough. It makes sense based on what they're doing. At the same time, it's still causing him pain and issues in this sense. It's his freaking neck, and we know this is happening. At what point do we go?
When it gets too bad,
for your own sake.
The problem is it's going to be like it is with everybody else, and it'll be too bad until something needs to be done. Because it's all you got to remember with Vince. It's always do me this favor. That's how Vince operates.
I'll owe you one.
Yeah, it's all right, Vince. I'll take that. I'll take that new neck, please.
I mean, you know what would be interesting? They get to the point because I was wondering who could replace Sheamus in the bar. Because at some point, I mean, if they want to keep that going.
Do you know what? I don't think they can. And I think this has actually been the best thing for both Sheamus and Cesaro's career. And I think they both know it. And I think you'll probably find it's more cool on their end, knowing that if the bar ends, then they don't know where to go in terms of the thing. Because they're not... To us, yes, they're really good, you know. But Sheamus has always been one of those guys that lacks. He'll do this the man on a mission thing, and he'll go on his solo path, and then he just won't get the reaction from the crowd. Cesaro has had it, but just can't keep that momentum. And they're really good in their own right when they're up against the right people. But I think they know, both of them right now, that this tag division is the best thing that they've had for the longest time. And they don't want to lose that. Yeah. And that's the really depressing thing, you know?
It's
because the WWE, because the writers are so far up their arse in doing, so much with the upper tier. They're trying to make the upper tier so much like early 2000s, the late 90s, with everybody trying to chase that heavyweight belt. And the problem with that is that the belt is not there defended month in, month out.
Which is why you give the second hour of Raw entirely to The Miz, because he's the only person that could possibly get us through it.
You're not fucking wrong. Not fucking wrong.
It's what happened the Monday afterwards. Anyway,
I will say it again, and I say it every bloody time. I want to see another Miz heavyweight championship reign. I want to see it.
Uncontested. Anyway,
and I will say every week. I'll say every week until it happens, and then when it happens, fucking Kev can put fucking streamers and everything on. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get through Bar and Titus Worldwide. I've got no idea how Titus World. Apparently, they beat the Bar in a non-title match, which is how we got this match.
Even fucking Wikipedia is just like, in the end, Cesaro and Sheamus performed a super white noise on Apollo to retain the title. That is literally it on Wikipedia for this match.
It wasn't a super white noise. It was an assisted white noise.
Yeah,
it was. So there was a back and forth shoving match between Sheamus and Apollo to start with, which was actually quite nice. Because it was like a real test of strength with them in the middle, and each going for the opposite corner, and like back and forth, like who's going to be, and that made sense in that sense. Apollo then gave the sunset flips. Sheamus kicked out of it, and there was like no power in the kick out, and then I was just like, oh, again. Titus eventually got in. He did a lot of sorts, went whatever he does. There was all sorts of kicks and hits and slams from him. Sheamus went up top. Sheamus went up top, and the crowd sort of went. The crowd went because everyone knows Sheamus went to the top rope, and the crowd were like, the murmurs were very much like, "Oh God, please get down from there." To the point where Sheamus actually sort of with the crowd just went.
Pause. Imagine a world where Titus O'Neil is so over, he can go to the top rope, go oorah, 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 and the entire crowd does it with him. Imagine that world.
No, I still can't do it. There was a bit of a back and forth with that. Sheamus the crowd think that Sheamus was going to do a senton off the top, and Sheamus actively going, "No, I'm not," going in for a clothesline. He ends up eating a Clash of the Titans, which did get actually a close near fall on that. And it's one of those things that surprising the Clash of the Titans is moderately well protected as finishes. So, but it's an assisted white noise that ended it. It was a sort of springboard in from Cesaro to the white noise, and it was a match, and it happened, and I can't for the life of me tell you why, but it happened. There was people in the ring. There was a referee. There was a count made, and the Bar are still your Raw Tag Team Champions. And that's probably a good idea. And Apollo at the pin and has lost his surname for nothing. And that's it.
Yeah.
If there's a highlight in there, John.
Dana Brooks still has her surname.
Yeah, she does. I will say one thing.
He's found
that
the
you
one light
there.
in the darkness. He's
I
found
actually.
it.
This match is scheduled.
I did like how the Bar. I did like how the Bar jumped on Titus Worldwide before the match started.
That was nice.
That was it. That was the only thing I cared about.
And I like that
really.
That also wasn't very telegraphed.
But everything else you said there, no, it wasn't. It was pretty much a sudden jump because the Bar was pissed at Titus Worldwide getting all those wins, so it only made sense. But other than that, you were spot on with your talking there because this was a nothing match. I only had like a half a page of notes for that. It wasn't really worth talking much over on that. So yeah, you've pretty much hit that on the nail, Ked. I thought that this was one of the weaker matches of the night. In fact, probably second weakest, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah. So
anyway, moving on to the next match.
There was an interesting promo for an Andre the Giant documentary that I really now want to see.
I want to see that too. The HBO Andre
there's some
the
talk
Giant
about eventually
documentary.
landing on the network, and I really hope they do that. It's interesting.
I would think it would be a while.
Yeah.
It would be a while until it gets released on the network because HBO, I would think that they would have some exclusivity with it for a good few months, and then it might pop up on the network because some of the documentaries that WWE put out on DVD, they take about almost a year before they get put onto the network. Like I just recently watched the Razor Ramon Scott Hall story documentary that was part of his DVD that came out in 2016, and that only just that must have just hit the network just recently because I didn't see it on there for a good while.
So lots of interesting stuff in that. If you get the chance to see it, would definitely recommend it based on that. Obviously, Andre, well known for his big drinking, but goes into sort of why he was doing that because it was using alcohol to mask the tremendous pain he was in. Also, actually showed Andre doing a double bear hug, and my immediate thought was, "Ooh, that would be cool. That would be cool for Braun or Big Show to do. Give it to Braun." If he has two of the lighter wrestlers, a double bear hug, that would be quite something. Yeah. Backstage, Nia stamps on Oscar's mask because Nia's a dick to merchandise. And then Oscar gets her very own Royal Rumble style by the numbers promo. But she's never lost a match, apparently, despite the fact that she has. People never think, but we ignore that. Which goes into Nia Jax and Oscar and everyone getting introduced from the various commentary tables, which I always love. Funaki is still comfortable, and he's still comfortable in his role. Good on you, Funaki, ultimate company man. Jim Prasad is a very nice tie, and Meng Ai's tie is a thin and crap. And that's all I got from the entirety of that. But yes, into Nia Jax and Asuka, and Asuka is on the attack immediately.
Yeah, she was very, at it to start off. Was like, nice kind of like, kind of like a standoff between the two, essentially. Because this wasn't their first rodeo. They had their little showdown at NXT The End takeover show. Which had a really bad ending to. I actually thought that this match was actually one of the stronger matches. I was tied between the women's chambers match and this match as one of the best match of the night. And I think I like this one a little bit better because obviously I like Asuka. But no, going through it, what was it? Nia Jax was eventually gets dominating after grabbing Asuka by the hair, and when she's on the apron and Asuka's going in for the hip attack, but Nia Jax just sidesteps and grabs her by the hair, and then throws either clubs her in the back or whatever. I can't remember. But after that, she likes dominating for the match. No, Asuka then eventually just tries to put Nia into different submissions. Like she tries to put her into a knee bar. Nia Jax is just powered out of it. What was it? Then what was it? Asuka trying to put on a guillotine, kind of like a submission, but Nia Jax being able to like take her into a suplex position and then do a jackhammer.
Yeah. Can we please call it the Jax Hammer?
And of course, the crowd.
Please call it the Jax Hammer and give that to her as a secondary finisher, please. If we're going to give it to
someone, get that man a booking job.
We have somebody whose name is basically the move. So can we do that, please? Also, she's not a secondary, does she?
She's got the Samoan drop. She's got the Samoan drop and a leg drop as her finishers, essentially. That's it. Yeah. So you're right. Give her the jackhammer and call it the Jax Hammer. What was it? Speaking of, she hits a Samoan drop, but misses with the leg drop. Then Asuka hits Shining Wizard for 2. Does multiple kicks for 2. They did that actually spot where in the end in the NXT Takeover the end match that they had, the finish to that was Nia Jax was on her knee and she screams at Asuka. And then Asuka just hits her and kicks her in the head, and she gets the pin, and that was it. Very lackluster. They did that same spot here, but it didn't. That wasn't the end of the match. Nia was able to get out of it. Eventually, Nia would fight back. She would then try to do a kind of like a sitting. It was like Yokozuna's kind of like. Bonsai drop, to Asuka, but of course she misses because Asuka rolls out. And then eventually, Asuka would get an armbar into Nia Jax, which is really good. But Nia Jax, of course, the amount of power that she portrays in this match, obviously she breaks out. But then Nia Jax attempts a powerbomb, but Asuka, by sheer luck, rolls up Nia Jax for the pin, which I thought was which I thought was a good way for her to ease that win out, just barely, surviving essentially, because that was the whole point of that. Is that Asuka in the takeover end match, Asuka was more dominant in that one. This time around, Nia was more dominant, and Nia was more powerful, and Asuka was really feeling the strain this time around, and she was able to fight back and be able to get that win back. Afterwards, though, Nia would get her heat back by attacking Asuka, ramming her through the Timekeeper's barricade area, and just leaving her as a broken mess, and she had to be carried out by refs. But I felt that was a good match. I felt that was a really good match. It definitely showed Nia as being this strong, dominant character, like she has been for months. But of course, she just gets duped out of a win by sheer fluke. Some people might find that as annoying. I don't feel as that the case. I didn't really think that Nia Jax was actually going to win this match at all. I thought Asuka was going to win. Like she has kept dominant, and she would keep her winning streak going into Mania. Hell, it's even the same case with the Mixed Match Challenge. She can't lose that Mixed Match Challenge competition, because that'll be a loss for her. Even though if Miz eats the pin, that's a loss for Asuka, essentially. So they can't have anything like that happen to Asuka. So yeah, but I still thought that besides the whole issue of Asuka and her winning streak and whatnot, which I don't have a problem with. I actually like Asuka having this winning streak, or undefeated streak. But no, I thought this was a good match. I thought this was a decent match. Definitely showed off both characters and whatnot. So yeah.
I just want to touch on that point. The problem with having undefeated streaks, as long as this one, is the fact that if you don't make the loss undeniably brilliant at this stage, it makes everything else that you've done up to that point garbage. Because the time that she has the undefeated streak, she needs to be godlike. And then, all they're going to do, the minute she wins that title, the only thing they're going to do to throw everything in her way is multi-person matches every single time. And she's going to have to come out of that, and then she'll look as untouchable as what Bliss does currently. And they're going to make Bliss's downfall be Asuka. And we know it's coming because she's undefeated, as we get told every week. How do you have someone that can touch the undefeatable Asuka? Are we just going to have to wait for Ember Moon to come up from NXT and have that for eternity? Is that what it's going to be? The next person from NXT to beat the last person from NXT?
You either make it somebody is the new who beats Asuka. Is it the person who is your next anointed monster, or is it somebody who's surprising? Somebody who can say is like, "Aha, the person who's got your number," and for some reason that Asuka can't do it, and then you make Asuka turn heel on them because she flips out.
At the moment, there's quite a number of characters in NXT that could be Asuka after she becomes champion. If they choose to have an NXT call-up to be that person to beat her. Although, granted, what I speculate is that they will feed her eventually to Ronda Rousey, because I feel as though that they will do that to her begrudgingly. But you have Kairi Sane, you have Shayna Baszler, you have Ember Moon, you have Nikki Cross, 4 brilliant women right now in NXT who are really showing how each with their own kind of different styles as well. Shayna Baszler being this cold, sadistic, kind of like MMA fighter. Ember Moon, the mysterious, charisma and whatnot. Nikki Cross, the crazy bitch, and Kairi Sane, the other Japanese superstar with the best elbow in the business today. There's so many, all those characters can easily be anyone that could beat Asuka down the line when they get called up. It's just whether or not she'll be undefeated by the time they get called up, any of those 4 get called up, or Ronda Rousey will get that win and be proclaimed the one who beat Asuka.
If Ronda Rousey gets the women's championship before Nia Jax, there's going to be a fucking shit fit.
Somewhere out there, there is a picture in a WWE executive's head of Ronda Rousey holding both the Raw and SmackDown titles up above her head.
I would not be surprised at that point. I really wouldn't.
Anyway, things to note from Miser. Nia really went the whole hog on the bonsai drop. I mean, even Yoko was just like, apart from when he slips, he kind of just goes, he went down. She just went proper fell. So Asuka did not get out of the way. There was something of a botch. Nia did a rolling senton, and Asuka rolled but couldn't get out of the way fully in time, and Nia basically landed on the back of Asuka's legs, which kind of hurt Nia. And if you look at the actual footage of it, Asuka's leg bends in a way that just makes you sort of go. The finish I thought was great. I like what was it, the Hurricane Rana twisting it around to a victory roll. I thought that was a really good way, and it made sense that it was Asuka's. The way Asuka did it was to surprise her in the end. So that's how Asuka beat Nia. There was some stuff with Bliss. We cut to Bliss doing the whole WWE angle, watching of a television from a Oh god! And her looking very concerned when Asuka was doing well, and upset when Asuka won, and then looking very, very happy indeed when Asuka was getting the crap beat out of her afterwards. It was a good match. I like that Nia remained strong. It made sense that Asuka was obviously unbeaten still, but it was clearly that she'd taken to a limit. And going back to what Turbo said earlier, I'd love to see Nikki Cross versus Asuka, just because they'd just smash each other to bits and really love each other for doing it.
Yeah. Well, they had that really good last woman standing match at NXT before Asuka left. Good. And that was a really good match. So that's why I say those 4 women would be a great kind of like call up.
If we're going to
see
Nikki Cross, I want to see the entirety of Sanity on the main roster, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure the entirety of Sanity will be brought up.
And then they'll immediately tell Eric Young. Because WWE. Okay. Anything from your side on that match, Pete?
No. When
So,
I was watching Elimination Chamber live, I was just like, right, cool. Sasha has to win this match. Okay, Bliss won. Okay, so the best storyline we can get out of this going into Mania is Nia wins to make it true. Nia lost. Oh, can't pull a trigger, can they? Gotta hold on to that WrestleMania jizz fest, haven't they?
Yeah. So we move on from there. Fucking buy Rocket League or we'll cut you. And whilst we're on the subject, we've not talked about KFC for a while. Buy chicken now, or else.
Chicken. Do you know what? The best evening to me sounds like chicken and Rocket League. Shall we get on that at some point?
It's not a bad evening. In fact, why are we doing this wrestling stuff? We should just go and buy KFC and play some Rocket League.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Anyway,
WWE advertising at its greatest.
Roman Reigns came out. Well, he was at the back. Came out for a promo. Crowd was very happy. Reigns talked about how Heyman, because Heyman was there, obviously, how Heyman isn't a wrestler and he talks about stuff he doesn't know about. Roman. Heyman has been in the business for a very long time. Okay? He created EC fucking W. You know? He's the only manager in history to have, 3 champions in a row. 3 world champions in a row.
Roman, you are a wrestler, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes! It's the idea that he's somehow not been... Roman, Paul's been in the ring with world champions. He has pinfall victories over world champions. You know, I think when it comes to whether or not Paul Heyman knows about wrestling, if you ask anybody, like, do this person know about wrestling? Paul Heyman, I think, does.
Nah.
Shut up, Roman. Alright, we then go on to Hardy versus Wyatt, and I am going to white knight the fuck out of this. Okay, so...
Did you say white light or white knight?
White knight. Okay.
But this was the best match on the card.
No, it wasn't. Okay, the problem with the Hardy-Wyatt feud is that they are literally trying to buy time with it. They've sort of started with it, and they want to get to a point where we're going to have a quote-unquote final deletion match, Hardy compound stuff, okay? Problem, we can't have it yet. They can't get to it because there's all this stuff getting up to WrestleMania in the way. Not going to have it at WrestleMania, don't be ridiculous. But they want to have it probably after WrestleMania. They can't buy time with it in the middle with Jeff because Jeff's injured. Although Jeff's coming back soon, which is great, and he'll be back in time for WrestleMania. So hopefully they'll do something there, and we might have the broken Hardys properly. But they're sort of trying to drag this out at the same time as somebody in the back, probably Vince, is going, ha ha ha, that laughter, I like that. Do some more of that. So they're stuck in this limbo of they're in the feud, but they have to sort of 50-50 book it somehow and get to a point where they can have the big match send off and do something next with the character which sends them both in opposite directions and go exit it. But they can't have it yet. So what you end up with is something like this. Now, please get rid of the laughter from the introduction for when Matt comes along. It's annoying as crap. So Matt comes out first. Coach does not get the Woken gimmick, naturally enough. Graves explains that it is because of his condition, which was hilarious. Matt's in the ring with his nice outfit on, and everyone's quite pleased to see him. Then Bray's gimmick goes off. He's and then Bray is in the ring, but Matt is not there. And I really liked this.
Oh no, I did as well. Yeah, I thought this was really good. Yeah,
Bray appeared in the ring via his spookers. Matt isn't there, and Bray's really pissed. Bray is rattled into, which we don't see the Bray Wyatt character rattled, and
I think that was the whole. I think that is the whole purpose of this match, but I think B, the next thing that Matt doesn't really work out how he was expecting. I think he was expecting more broken marks to be there to know the song.
Well, no, they were still chanting along with the obsoletes because, so Matt starts taunting him from the beyond, or wherever the hell it is that he is.
I.e. under the ring.
But Bray starts going around the ring, checking under the announce tables, checking under the ring, as Matt starts singing obsolete to him.
Absolutely.
And Bray getting more and more frustrated was great. Eventually, Matt appears on the turnbuckle by magic. The steel stairs, actually. By the ring post. Leaps off, double axe handle. They eventually get in the ring, lots of sort of generic stuff. I also Matt. One thing I've always loved about Matt Hardy is he can actually throw a really good right hand that looks like it must have killed you, but at the same time and makes a big noise, but at the same time it doesn't hurt them in the slightest. So they have a bit of back and forth. Bray goes into the corner, goes to do his spider, and hilariously, Matt stands at the centre of the ring and starts applauding him. And starts going to the crowd.
I like this
on your feet and applaud this man. Standing ovation.
As funny as that is, it instantly kills the spider forevermore.
Yes, but if you're going to take apart the entire Wyatt gimmick in this way, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Matt's mad. The fact
that's the whole thing.
Something that's freaking spooky as crap makes sense. Bray's not happy about this at all. Charges, Matt goes for a twist of fate, and this is the other story which the commentators didn't actually pick up on, is that the one thing that Bray is particularly weak to is the twist of fate. So Matt keeps going for the twist of fate.
Yeah.
Goes twist of fate. Bray blocks it with his arm. So Matt immediately takes him down with an armbar takedown, which was a nice move. Again, more back and forth. The crowd starts yelling and distracting. That's because the fucking beach balls come out, and I immediately hate Las Vegas. Great take.
I said, fuck this crowd.
I've just got put crowd is beach balling, aren't they? Fuckers, is my notes. Bray takes him out off his feet on the apron and into the apron face first, which was nice. There's a "We want beach balls" chant. Please fuck off and die, Las Vegas. Bray teases a Uranagi into the steel steps, the in-place steel steps, which was sort of like, ooh. And then, considering what happens later, that could have been interesting. Matt charges into a close on the outside, and eventually Matt gets a tornado DDT, goes for the clothesline bulldog combo that he does, fails. Bray charges, and Matt hits a side effect. Crowd's pretty much dead at this point. Matt, however, sort of goes up into the top turnbuckle on the other side and starts conducting deletes and actually gets the crowd back into it for a short period of time. Another twist of fate attempt, again blocked. Bray Uranagi's Matt, and Matt lands on his arm in such a way that I honestly thought his right shoulder was actually going to pop out of its socket. It was not the nicest of landings. It gets a 2 counts. We get a nice picture with the Rocket League.
It didn't help. Yeah, it didn't help that it was followed by a senton right afterwards, which
the senton missed, and while this is going on, we get Rusev Day chants. Please, let's get the right brand. Yeah, keep it on SmackDown,
guys.
Although at the same time, it was Rusev Day, so in fairness. After a bajillion times, another twist of fate attempt. No, Sister Abigail, no. Twist of fate finally hits. And of course, Bray can't kick out the twist of fate, so Hardy wins. And no, the music stuff afterwards didn't really work. But apart from that, considering that, like I say, they have to get from A to B, and the in-between is please put lots of filler in. They're trying their best. That said, no, it wasn't a good match.
No, I totally agree. You were spot on with all that. I mean, I like this. I like the spot. I like the beginning of the match. I like the spot with Matt Hardy just being mad by applauding and getting the crowd to applaud and whatnot. But yeah, I think the major problem was, of course, for this match was the crowd. The crowd wasn't into it. The crowd wasn't getting to it, and of course, the little back and forth between Bray and Matt, it wasn't gelling. It wasn't gelling, and it didn't gel when in their first encounter. It didn't gel here. It's just because the two personalities are not working, because Matt Hardy's broken gimmick, or Woken gimmick in this case, only works when he's working with someone who is straight face, who doesn't have any gimmicks, who has just a straightforward kind of like normal personality. Bray isn't a normal personality. He is this dark entity, blah 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 blah. I'm the leader. I'm the ear of words and whatnot. It doesn't work with this character because he himself is a caricature of this.
But Hardy's promos were also a lot different in the other company because he had more freedom to do what he wanted. There was none of this, I'll just look at a camera and do something. There was more showing a lot of family and other sort of things and bits and pieces to extend.
Yeah, that's obviously something that kind of like went with the character, but it's still his character was still going up against these regular people. He was weirding out all these regular wrestlers, like EC3, when he was going up to EC3 and he was just going.
He hasn't had that feud beforehand. He hasn't had a thing with a straight man, as you were saying, Turbo. The fact that he hasn't had that gimmick hasn't really. Yeah. They've gone straight into the thing that it's a kind of a natural matchup of putting the weird versus the weird. But we haven't had a chance to see the weird versus somebody normal to understand the weird is really weird. Like I said, it's all a bit wrong.
Because that's how Bray Wyatt got over. Was he was going up against all the straight guys. He was going up against John Cena. He was freaking out all the guys who are normal and whatnot. But no, you are putting him against another weird character.
Do you know what would be a good way to build Matt's storyline at this point going forward? Would possibly be to do the song and get it into people's heads, but then get to a point where Matt gets beaten down so much, and it'll probably be at a pay-per-view, but then you have Jeff come out from behind when Jeff's ready and start doing the song on the mic and doing the chant and getting people in, and it will elicit it will elicit such a reaction.
If it was my choice with this filler period, I wouldn't have them wrestle at all. I would literally just have them appear doing bits on location, but as long as it takes, and have Matt not even wrestle. I'd have the House Hardy stuff, which they're sort of teasing is coming.
Well, they didn't just tease it. It was on the back of the jacket that Matt wore.
They're doing that. Matt's been doing a lot of pictures on social media with very obviously Vanguard one there. There's other stuff going down. There's lots of mentions on his social feed of House Hardy and all the people associated with it. I would have build that up as the narrative again. So the point where you've got it like the Fashion Files where people want to see that. And then you've got Matt to a point where he's ready to roll again. It's like a reboot, a soft reboot of it. And then you can keep Bray in it. You can keep Bray making his provisions and building up the character again, because Bray needs that as well. And you can have them making their own various plans, and then you can have it build into the final deletion match. Or whatever is going to happen at the Hardy compound. But then Randy Orton can burn Matt's house down, and Jeff's dog will die. And
Joe's dog. Yeah.
And Randy will go up this, and then I don't know.
Could be classified as obsolete.
Then Rebby will wheel the piano out of the burning house and play obsolete, and
King Maxwell will be there on his
throne.
Then
pin Randy Orton and will become the youngest WWE champion of all time, and then will ultimately retire and maybe beat Oscar. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's that. Things happen. I wish they did better. I'm wearing a TNA Hardy t-shirt, for goodness sake. But it's not going to happen. And of course, we're going to get more stuff as we play for time with this thing. Buy our merch or we'll cut you. And we'll also put Roman Reigns in the main event, which we're going to do anyway. Ha ha! There's a taped promo from AJ Styles for Fastlane, which made me want to watch Fastlane. It's funny what happens if you just do it and let somebody just say their story. We come back to the announce team, or the English-speaking announce team, and Corey Graves' hair is even worse than I've been led to believe, it turns out. Dear God, I don't know why you
bleached it.
Now, I heard that it was bad, and woo, boy, I don't know what made you do that, Corey, but
I think he looked into the deadlights and
it's just slowly going to grow and start throbbing, you know. We then get a Ronda Rousey promo. A promo about Ronda Rousey, which includes the fucking over of the Royal Rumble finish, because they really don't get this. Oh, boy. And then we get on to semi-main event contract signing with the Stephanie McMahon show. And I don't know, Pete, this is all yours if you want it.
I think the table had the best spot of the night.
You have the floor, man.
Best spot of the night went to the table.
The table.
It is the table.
That's it. It did. Had a big push.
The table's over.
It put Triple H over. He needed it.
Well, it
was pointless. Like, I mean, if you want to dissect it, it's like she didn't even rehearse what she needed to say. She's obviously come from a direction where talking is not the big thing, because it's more action rather than words. Whereas, you know, WWE is really about a mixture of the both, like being able to perform in like vocally as well as athletically. And it honestly just seems that she wasn't ready to be on the mic at all, which is probably why it hastened the direction they went on Raw. But it was really bad. And this is either leading up into a mixed match at WrestleMania or the rumored Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie versus Ronda. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen in that match. Somebody's going to get a broken arm.
It needs to be a tag team match.
It honestly does, because otherwise we're just going to have the Authority taking over 2/3 of the show.
Because we know Trips is working. We know Trips is working Mania simply because we're getting all the workout videos of Trips. So we know he's working Mania.
Angle has to be working Mania. The fact that he's done 2 matches already.
They can't have The Rock to be the partner like at Mania 31, which Angle proceeded then to actually reference. So then, and they set up everything so it makes sense that it's the tag team.
I don't know what you're talking about. Angle referenced WrestleMania 21. You know,
he did, and then to his credit, he immediately corrected himself. It wasn't one of these ones where he just goes, he actually went. Which went, yeah.
Fucking wank! Throw it in the bin.
Anyway, I did like Angle's Angle's like,
I've got
WrestleMania. Angle pretending like he's like the most blabbermouthed friend ever, when in actuality he's getting his own back in subtle ways.
Moving on.
Question.
Yeah, moving on.
If you're getting a contract with no perks, I think a WrestleMania match, a guaranteed WrestleMania match, is considered a perk. Last time I checked.
I want a contract. I don't want any perks. I don't want a championship match at WrestleMania. But I still want that match I pointed at the sign for.
Yeah, I still want that. I want to earn it. Yes, I want to earn that WrestleMania match. I have now earned the WrestleMania. I, for one, hope that she isn't. She is going to be doing all the dates.
She has earned it because she has earned that WrestleMania match because she got slapped by Stephanie McMahon.
She put Triple H through a table. That's what did it.
Yeah. In fairness, it was a good slap.
It was very good.
Slap. I mean, Steph.
Oh, it was apparently it was
good enough to get the slow mo.
Apparently, it was good enough that. Well, it was apparently good enough to leave a mark. Apparently.
Again, Angle's bullshitting of being he was in awe of Triple H and Stephanie was hilarious.
But yeah, let's move on to what I consider the best match of the night, even though the winner was telegraphed a year in advance.
Go to New Orleans or we'll cut you.
With Chicken and Rocket League.
Yes.
Hey, WWE, I am trying to win a competition to try to get to New Orleans. So, yeah, if you'd like me to win that competition, I would be happy to come to New Orleans. But I'm not paying over $1,000 to come over there. No way.
With his chicken and his Rocket League.
It was Chicken in his Rocket League. And before that, before we even got onto the men's elimination chamber, there was still all the talk after was like, oh yeah, Rouser, and then it suddenly morphed into Stephanie, and it was just like, really,
yeah,
really,
cool.
Still doing this bullshit.
Male elimination chamber match. Otherwise known as the putting over of Braun Strongman and the subsequent destruction of Braun Strongman to put over Roman Reigns.
Best, most hilarious part of the night, inadvertently, was in the promo for this. When it talked in its dramatic voice about all the things going on with the Elimination Chamber and the road to WrestleMania. You look at the athletes and the artistry on display. Do you know what they showed when they said artistry on display?
Roman Reigns.
KFC and Rocket League.
No. They showed Brock Lesnar doing the WrestleMania shooting star press, which he botched.
Oh, God.
On display as Brock nearly breaks his own neck and nearly ends his own life. The artistry on display. I was like, for fuck's sake.
Right.
You kidding
I would like to point out that 3 Superman punches and 2 spears are more powerful than a curb stomp, an FU. I called it an FU, an AA.
AA.
No, I'm old school Cena. Word life. FU.
This is basic peak linguistics.
Well, F5 to you.
You can take every finisher, but it's 3 Superman punches and 2 spears that do it in the end. On top of Braun Strowman's stamina at the end of an hour-long match. Fuck off. Fuck off. Right. The fact that he gets up shortly afterwards to fucking be the sore loser is just like, fuck off. Yeah. It was a good match. I think it was one of the best matches. It had one of the better storytelling matches. But fuck off with this ending. Seriously, the ending was the worst part of it.
I have a major issue with this match. What kind of match was it?
Elimination, 7-man Elimination Chamber match.
Okay. Until the last 4 minutes, the Elimination Chamber was completely irrelevant. Apart from Miz getting chased, which we'd already had at that point because we'd had it with Alexa Bliss.
The women's
match. The cage barely came into it. Really, the cage wall being used barely came into it. The outside barely came into it until Braun went through the pod. The pods really didn't come into it. Anything that makes up the Elimination Chamber in the Elimination Chamber match was barely utilized. It was basic. They could have just easily had it be a gauntlet style, have it be like a scramble match for God's sake, with people coming out every X minutes. There was bugger all about the actual chamber in there. It was just, they're standing there, which did give us the wonderful sight of a sign behind Braun as he's standing in his pod with Braun is senpai. But apart from that,
Braun senpai.
Apart from that, and the coldest line from Corey Graves I think he will ever give in his career, which was that a liar is used to plexiglass because he grew up behind it talking to his father.
That was funny.
Which was cold as ice. Seriously, where did the chamber come into this match? I didn't see it.
It kept people out of the match for 5...
Well, anything could have done.
20 minutes.
Anything could have done. Poor Miz.
You knew Miz. It was obvious that Miz was going to lose that match at first.
We knew he was going to lose. I mean, he flopped around like a fish. His thing at the beginning of talking around taunting everyone was great, and then being terrified by Braun Strowman. It was great, but I mean, the match itself was so. We had a point when Roman just punched people for a minute.
Yeah, it was fun.
A minute straight of him just walking around and punching people.
Why has the Miz started doing the Bullet Club gun taunt thing?
Oh no, he didn't. He was just doing that.
No, that's just his point.
Which looks like a gun.
Well, it was like who do I do in? I like the fact that he saw what the crowd said and then didn't start with who they said deliberately. So, that was his moment. But it was also Roman. Other things, Roman no-sold the buckle bomb.
Yep.
Which is like, this killed Sting, you remember? It killed him dead. He was buried with full honours. It's still...
this is
clearly
his
it was the
moment.
chest protector that saved him from it. I don't know.
I mean,
it was dumb, this match, and I hated it.
You're not wrong. I didn't mind it. I think the storytelling was actually pretty decent for what the match was, but fuck me. I just wish this. I'm looking forward to once WrestleMania is over, because the story of Roman Reigns can be over and the story of everybody else can begin. Because once the story of the two men that have beaten the Undertaker at WrestleMania is over, fuck me. I'm going to be so happy.
Hopefully it just ends in a no contest because Taker just turns up and just choke slams both of them.
Can you imagine if it's on the scale of like a WrestleMania 18 type shock where they just suddenly announce it out of nowhere, it's no DQ, and like, this match is a triple threat match. Brock and Roman go, what the fuck? Undertaker comes out, fucking tombstones, pins Brock, takes the belt.
That would be great, especially if they keep it silent enough, like they don't know. Taker coming in, getting revenge over both the opponents. That would be a great story.
Oh, here you go.
I'd be happy with him coming back from retirement for that perfect moment and actually getting his revenge.
It's the story of John Cena needing WrestleMania. I'm not actually allowed to make the matches, but I'm going to put myself in this one.
That's so annoying. That's so annoying. I don't have any power around. Bullshit. Every single fucking week you come out at the top of the show. You came out at the top of the show, top of Raw or SmackDown for what seemed like forever.
He came out at the beginning of Raw
what was going to happen, and then got yourself in a match.
I'm going to be there on Raw to announce that I'm going to be there on SmackDown.
I'm a free agent. I'm a free agent. Bullshit, you are. Get over it.
Sad Cena during the Chamber.
He hasn't got a road to WrestleMania.
What was the other WrestleMania one that they've done? And it was relatively recent where they had that entire story where John Cena was like, I don't have a road to WrestleMania. And then he went to the authority and they were like, and it's not our fault.
Yes. One of the few times I really liked the authority's responses. It made sense. I liked the whole sort of desperation going up. I liked that they gave Finn a little moment of just being brave and he's being brave and standing up to Braun, and Braun actually had a little bit of trouble with him for a while. That was nice. We hit the 1916, which was called 1916, which is nice.
Are you looking?
I think that's a reverse 1916.
It was called that. I think in WWE parlance, it probably wouldn't be allowed if it was the other way around.
Are you looking forward to the inevitable congratulations from Seth Rollins to Roman Reigns on the Raw following WrestleMania?
I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns taking over Brock Lesnar's schedule and not appearing. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to somebody explaining to me what sense it is that somebody with a nickname The Architect has a thing in his song which is Burn It Down, which is the complete opposite of something an architect does, because an architect builds and creates shit.
Builds stuff. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them realising that actually none of us give a shit about this match, and that's one of the reasons why we've got the Miz go round currently. Because one of the reasons why that is because of the stuff going on with the steroids investigation, the report, and WWE and Roman Reigns, who's already been named as stuff, and it's all being denied. But WWE are sort of going to backup plan mode apparently, and one of the reasons they're considering doing is getting Braun into that as a triple threat.
Do it,
which would be hilarious.
Pull the trigger, put the belt on Braun. I will take that because they're going to put this fucking match on last because it's Brock fucking Lesnar and he gets the fucking money. They'll put that match on last over the Shinsuke fucking AJ Styles match. And fuck me, if they pull the trigger, put Braun in that match and they give Braun the belt, I'll call that a happy WrestleMania. Because as always, and I will never forget the hashtag, anyone but you, Roman. Anyone but you.
One of Bray's defining legacies, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would be happy with that. I'd be happy with Braun doing something ridiculous and doing them in at Mania. It also means that Miz won't die at Mania, which is what will happen if
Braun Strowman mugs Carmella for her Money in the Bank contract, changes it to the men's championship, and hands it in and claims Money in the Bank.
I still like the idea of actually Carmella beating Asuka via Money in the Bank, because then you have Carmella being the one who's beaten her on the 2 occasions she's been beaten.
And Carmella is the one that ends the streak.
Yeah, and Carmella is the one who. But you then have the fun because Carmella is storyline petrified at Asuka, so you then have that going on. I don't know. There was stuff in the match all I can remember is Roman Reigns punching people for that minute. Turbo, was there anything there that was worthy of an Elimination Chamber?
Well, not worthy for Elimination Chamber, but still decent spots. I mean, what was it? Finn Balor did a couple of sweet drop kicks.
That he
I
did.
love that. What was it? What was it? Seth Rollins suplex Falcon's Arrow combo. It's always good. Double blockbuster.
The double, well,
from
we always
Seth Rollins.
the blockbuster.
Yes, we do.
So a double one.
Yeah.
Actually, the Falcon's Arrow one was interesting because he did it on the Miz, didn't he?
Yes.
It landed a bit weird because they landed a bit sort of too close to each other. And
yeah, that was.
It had to do a sort of weird shuffle backwards.
Yeah. What was it? I could definitely say that John Cena's double five knuckle shuffle can go fuck off. Because all it is just going and it's like fuck off. He then tried to do a double AA, but of course with what was it? I think it was Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, but they were able to get out of it.
Yeah.
Like Finn was able to slide off of it. Seth Rollins was able to land on his feet when he was like getting you. Was it? Yeah. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns just comes into the match at when he does come into the match. It's just punch. It's like you thought Braun Strowman was just going around just punching everyone. No, Roman Reigns just came in doing that. Before that there was a double superplex spot. John Cena to Finn Balor and Seth Rollins to the Miz. What was it? Roman Reigns was just dominating when he got in. It was really annoying. Braun Strowman comes into the match. He dominates. He reversed a double suplex. That was a really good spot of him just like taking both. I think it was like John Cena and Seth Rollins.
Yes,
I think. And then Braun Strowman he was able to climb up on the pod to catch Miz. Wax Miz into the plexiglass at the top of the pod, and then just chuck Miz off. But then the crowd was going like, "Yes, jump off the pod, Braun! Do
yes,
a dive! Do a dive!" and then Braun was just starts going down, and the crowd goes, "Boo! Boo!" It's like, fuck off, you guys! I don't want him to do that! Fuck you!
Starship Pain! Get our requests in! 450 splash!
Twisted Bliss!
Actually, that would be funny, considering, obviously, his mixed match challenge.
Yeah, but eventually, what was it? We would get to Elias, who apparently, I didn't know when this happened. Elias had the best chance of winning because he somehow won the opportunity to be the last one to come into the match.
Yeah.
For Elimination Chamber. I don't know when that happened and how that happened, but hey.
I think he beat Cena.
Okay.
Cena and Reigns, wasn't it? Like that's what Elias was posting about.
Anyway.
Oh, was that the triple threat? Okay.
Yeah.
Elias did a spinning sit-out powerbomb to Roman Reigns for a 2 count.
Well, that was
okay.
That was nice because just for the look of surprise on Roman's face.
Yeah, but eventually he tried to do that on Braun Strowman, and that was to his error, and he gets eliminated by Braun. Then Braun Strowman would just hit power slams for a good moment afterwards to all of his opponents for eliminating them and whatnot. Like you said, Kev, 1916. Although I think that's a reversed 1916, because the 1916 is Bloody Sunday, and it's a suplex into a brainbuster, I believe. That's the 1916, I believe. But anyway, Finn Balor did the coup de grace to Roman Reigns.
Who felt nothing because the chest protector.
Yeah, but Braun Strowman hit Finn Balor with a power slam, and Finn Balor gets eliminated. Then Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns tries to team up with Braun Strowman. Like you said, Roman Reigns no-sold a buckle bomb from Seth Rollins because we have to break up. We have to go after each other, even though we need to take out Braun Strowman first. Was it Braun Strowman? Yeah, Braun Strowman got thrown into a pod, the pod spot there.
He threw himself into a pod.
Yeah, aye. Braun Strowman goes topless. He rips off his shirt. Roman, why don't you do that? Take off that vest.
Because
show how much of a man you are.
It's not because you want to see what's underneath. It's just because then when you're wearing the stupid vest.
It's not as
be a man, Roman.
It's not as interesting if Roman has a nip slip, though.
But I will say only one wrestler two wrestlers in history have gone out wearing flak jackets for good purpose. Number one was the Big Boss Man during his Attitude Era one. And the other one was The Undertaker when he's taped a piece of flak jacket to himself to protect his ribs because he'd smashed them all. Okay? You don't need this.
You are forgetting a couple other people.
Probably. But quite possibly. However, they are irrelevant at this point of time. Stick with the point I made. And let's pretend that I haven't left anybody out. Because I totally did not. Absolutely not. Never did and never will. You can't prove it. This is a recording. By all means,
you're looking at the real.
By all means, talk to my recorded form. See the interest that I do. That I look at you as I nod at your answer and go,
"Yeah,
that's quite possibly correct."
You're looking at the real deal now. There. Anyway. Anyway.
That was the flag check. Moving along.
So yes, the whole thing of Braun Strowman being this dominant force, he eliminates everyone except Roman, because Roman just takes him out with three.
Tactical
what was it?
nuke.
3 super. Yeah, he just phones it in. It's like. Yeah, but I obviously this match was like we knew who was going to win, we just didn't know how it was going to be. I thought it was kind of bad for them to have Braun Strowman be so dominant through the match, and only to just be to eventually fatigue would all the power moves would eventually take its toll, and he will eventually fall down like the giant from the beanstalk that he is. It just didn't really do anything for me, and I don't think it will do anything for Braun Strowman. In fact, it didn't do anything for any for the guys other than Roman, because it was just a case of having Roman have the opportunity to go to WrestleMania and face Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. If he wasn't going to win the Royal Rumble, fine, we'll let him win an Elimination Chamber or some other match and take everyone else down for him. Yeah,
but thanks to this, the boyhood dream has come true. Yes, Vince McMahon has got the match he wanted 12 months ago. And in the end, isn't that what matters?
Absolutely. I think that is a good point to call it an end to this episode of Last Minute Kickout, talking about the fucking wank chamber match. Marks out of wank.
Can we have 10? Not wanks, but can we have 10? Like, I don't really want to put that kind of graphic up there. You know, you know what I'm saying? Is it to me first?
Sure.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
Four.
4 wanks out of 10. Gotcha.
No wanks out of 10. 4 marks out of 10 marks. And it could have been worse. Yes, I know we've told the story in a number of ways, and there were some good moments. That said, there was a number of duff matches, Elimination Chamber matches, not involving the Elimination Chamber is something kind of criminal. We knew what was happening with the results. We knew what was happening with everything. And we had a semi-main event contract signing just so we could get the freaking McMahon to Wrestlemania match. And I was bored for a lot of it, if I'm honest. The caliber of people that were in those matches, we shouldn't have had those matches. And the way even the stories have got to go, we shouldn't have had those matches.
John?
Buy KFC.
I'll have a Nando's, thanks. I would have to agree with Kev. I was teetering whether or not to give this a 5 or 4. I will solidly agree with Kevin, give it a 4. When I originally watched this live, I was falling asleep. I fell asleep through this pay-per-view because I did not care. When I rewatched it, yes, I did I did enjoy some of the work rate from some of the performers, but it overall it was a very predictable pay-per-view. We knew who was going to win their matches, except for maybe the women's elimination match, because we all thought that someone like Sasha Banks would win it. But no, for the Asuka match, for the men's chamber match, we knew Roman was going to go over, and yeah, the contract signing was not needed. So yeah, a solid 4. Definitely one of the weaker pay-per-views that we've reviewed on Last Minute Kickout. Pete.
By Rocket League.
With chicken.
With chicken. What? Buy it with chicken, hand in chicken, get Rocket League?
Play football with 11 kinds of herbs and spices.
In a shocking break from the norm, I'm going to give it a different grade to the two of you.
That's never happened before.
Oh no!
Oh no!
The streak is over.
But in a twist, I'm going to give it a higher grade rather than a lower one. I'm going to give it a 6.
What fucking wank decision have you given? A 6?
Well,
What show were you watching?
Hey, at least I didn't grade it a 4 and then watch it twice like John did.
You've broken him.
Good.
You've actually broken him.
I was gonna go with the joke of a fucking wank out of 10, but no, I'm gonna give it a 6. While the stories aren't the ones I wanted to.
He's kicked in again. Let him speak. We can string him up later.
Okay.
Well, while the stories I wanted told aren't the ones they wanted told, they still did do good stories. The women's chamber match told some good stories, albeit some bad ones in how they handle certain things. But the men's one told a good storyline throughout the hour it was there. You know? Fucking... They got off on the wrong foot, but they're starting to tell the story of Ronda Rousey, and fuck knows, we might see something else in 2 weeks of Fastlane. Who the fuck knows? They're only telling it on pay-per-views at this point. I enjoyed it more than some of the other ones, at least, that we've done on this show. I'll be honest. John, you are the super grade A mark here. Kev is a B grade mark, and I'm just a casual entrepreneur.
Thanks.
And yet you like this show more than...
Thanks for calling me as a B plus player, Trips. That's very kind of you.
It's all right, mate. You can be the token white dude in Titus Worldwide.
Because he's token white guy in us. I mean, for God's sake.
I mean, let's be fair. I made the point at the beginning of the show that John is John Senior. You are Kevin Nash. You're both old, and I am the younger, enjoy the product person of feet done.
How old are you, sir?
Let's not go there. Old enough not to answer that question. I see one of these guys in about a week, so it's going to be fun what's going to happen off there.
He's going in the team. He's what's happening. He's going off the pier.
Another table's going over.
The Sea of Portsmouth match gonna happen? He was like,
that's it.
It's gonna be a sledgehammer on the Portsmouth Spire. Yeah. On a pole.
I have been Titans Creed from Project Phoenix Productions. You can catch me on @Titans Creed @Project Phoenix Productions or youtube.com/Project Phoenix or twitch.com/Project Phoenix Productions. You can catch Mr. John Turbo Finley where?
On Twitter @TurboXLR, all capitals. Also on Twitch www.twitch.tv/TurboDriveLive. Mr.
Kevin, the Kevin Eva, where can they find you?
Who is being called that because his Twitter handle is @the Kevin Eva because some idiot already got that and is not using it. Alternatively, you can catch us on YouTube via the Last Minute Continued channel or on Twitch. That's the same. All the details. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, when you're already there. But in the description, there's also links to here, there, and everywhere. And it's probably all on your screen now. Like so. Just making myself more work by having it pop up at that exact time. Anyway, but that's it.
As always, thank you very much for watching if you're on the YouTube. Thank you very much for listening and tuning in on the iTunes link. If you do need any links, they are all in the places where they need to be because Kevin likes work to do. Because he doesn't have enough, clearly. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you for Fastlane, which will be the next one up. But yes, Thank you very much for watching / listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.